All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark. Call me Clive. And this is the weekly dev update for CharityLiveStream.com. So let's just jump into it. Last Saturday, when I did the last live stream, I was talking about how I was working to get the community highlights, the announcement out there, and to get everything set up. And so right now, I'll start with what I ended up getting done on Saturday itself, just as a quick recap. So there were three main highlights. I was able to get the business profiles expanded. So now if you have a business account, or if you're interested in having a business account, you not only can showcase how it is that your business is helping the community, but you can also showcase 3 core products or services that you have right on your profile itself. Obviously, I pushed out that the blog post that I was working on that day for the community highlights, along with the sign up for them. And since whenever I do a blog post, that tends to take up most of my day, with only like some minor updates here and there. That was the major thing. So then moving on to the next day, on Sunday. There we go. So Sunday was about just a lot of cleanup work in regards to the charity highlights. I had gotten the announcement post out on Saturday night, so Sunday morning it was Easter, so I had intended to use it as a day off, but I found myself having a little bit of free time, so I added in the highlight reels to all of the community pages. So that way, whenever we have a new highlight, when I add it to the blog, it'll automatically show up in its proper category as a showcase. So if I am highlighting a gamer, then it'll show up in the gaming category. If I highlight a nonprofit, it'll show up in the nonprofit category. I also got the dev update stream uploaded to YouTube, edited, and ready to go. And of course, to anyone who was paying attention, I implemented the custom tweets for events. So now if you have an event on CLS, I'm able to build you out a custom tweet based on your event, where I can showcase the event organizer as well as a link to the CLS event page, and not rely on the community to type all that in on their own. So it makes it easier, much easier, to promote not only your channel, but the charity itself. So then moving on. Boom. There we go. So Monday was when things started getting a little more exciting, because I was fresh off the holiday, and I was able to really just sit down and buckle down to getting some stuff done. So and some of that was obviously the spreading the news about the community highlights posts, and making it easier for early adopters to sign up. So if you're going to a nonprofit or a business page, or the volunteer, or the community search for business page, then you're able to have that information on how, if you are actually a business or a nonprofit, then how you can join the site and what are some of the benefits for you. And of course, the two big announcements on that day was that over the night we'd had our 100th event submitted to CLS, which was really nice, because this past week, really the past weekend, was the 2-year anniversary of me getting the alpha version of the site up and running. The very first version of the site, where it was just a a calendar, and it was open to just a few people to start trying and testing things out. And now 2 years later, CLS has been able to help support and promote 100 events. And so that was pretty awesome. I actually woke up to that. And so in addition to the updating of the community posts, I decided to just buckle down and rebuild the homepage, because the homepage that was there basically hadn't been updated since 2016. And with all of the improvements to the site, and with everything that I've been working on, I figured it was time to streamline the page, make it more accessible, make it cleaner, and make it easier to showcase, what is going on with the site, and how it benefits everyone. So yeah, that was that. So then next came Tuesday. All right. And so on Tuesday was a lot of like the bug fixes and visual updates. So a lot of the visual changes that I had been doing for the homepage, I transferred over to a little bit to the community pages. Minor things on the homepage, like ensuring that only the next 5 events show up on the homepage as opposed to all of them. And so with those minor changes, I also went through and I updated all of the events for the next 30 days with their custom tweets. So before I had implemented a system to make the custom tweets, and then I applied it to everything that's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. And so between all of those minor fixes and adjustments, I also set up a Twitch community for CharityLiveStream. So that way, if you're doing a charity event and you don't have a community of your own that you're promoting it to, then you are able to add your event to the CLS community. And that way, everyone has a guaranteed location where they can put their charity events and have those charity events reach out to others. So yeah, I was excited to have that as an option, because if nothing else, then at least all of the individual broadcasters who are on the site and who are posting their events, if they don't have the manpower to run an entire community, and if they're not dedicated to their own, we can have a central place for everyone to just find charity events from within the Twitch platform itself. So that's pretty exciting to me. And so moving on to Wednesday. Bada boom. So let's see. So Wednesday was about getting the next blog post out. So originally, I had been saying that I wanted to get the blog post for last week's dev update stream and put that out on Monday or Tuesday. But between the homepage rebuild and taxes coming up, that ended up getting pushed to Wednesday. So that was my major project for the day, and then I was able to squeeze in some minor site updates, like putting the nonprofit square and the business plaza under groups, because it just made much more sense, whereas all of the community pages are focused on finding individuals. Having the groups, nonprofits, and businesses being separate account types, being put in that separate category, just makes it much cleaner and easier to navigate, in my opinion. So then, so yeah, I mean, so I had gotten that blog post written, put onto the various different platforms, and emailed. So I can tell that I'm getting better at streamlining all of this outreach that I'm doing, because it took me 2 days to do that last time. So as I do this more, as I get more comfortable with it, as I get into the swing of things and I start developing systems that I can personally use to get this out there, it'll be much better for my communication. Because the more that I can talk with you guys, the more updates that I can give, and the more that I can put out, the better it is overall. Because you don't have to wonder, is the site being worked on? Because I let you know. So then moving on to Thursday. So let's see. So Thursday was spent starting the preparations for the new CharityStream guide, and I've mentioned this for a little while in the past couple of streams, but I wanted to make sure that this week was the week that I really hammered down to start the complete rewrite. And it is largely a word-for-word rewrite of everything. In addition to an expansion of the tools, the strategies, the advice, and everything else that's going to be going on. So a lot of organization, a lot of first passes at what exactly am I going to need to do, and how am I going to split down the work and split down the pages. So for instance, the marketing section in the current guide is huge, because marketing is, there are whole businesses around marketing and digital marketing, even just tiny aspects of it. So breaking that down into a few subgroups to start out with, and then after everything is updated, then I can add more subgroups to explain different aspects of different elements. So for instance, if I wanted to do a deeper dive into social media marketing specifically, or a deeper dive into Twitter strategies or Facebook strategies or something else, then I now have a better framework to make all of that happen, as opposed to the current guide, which is just one massive 12,000 word wall of text. The new guide is being broken down into different pages based on what step, and in some cases the breakdown of those steps. And then there were some minor changes to the homepage as well. Changing the list view of events into the much prettier grid view, adding a highlight of what is a charity stream to the top, and I realize that this is misspelled actually, so I will bada boom. But yeah, so just making small little visual updates to that and other aspects of the site, so that way it was much more consistent, much more useful, based off of the feedback that I got from you users after I had announced the initial launch of the homepage. So once again, thank you all for your support and for helping me out with this. So moving on to yesterday. So yesterday was actually interesting because earlier in the week, I didn't mention this before, but I had been starting to set up some conversations with a few different people, letting them know about the updates to the site and what I'd been working on. And so half of my day was spent talking with existing partners and users for some events that are going to be happening in May, and starting the setup process for that. And then the other half of the day was used to start the actual splitting up of the guide, breaking down the existing information into different pages, getting those pages, getting their layouts set up for what I plan to do, and starting the rewrite. And then if anyone saw like a few more minor tweaks to the buttons and the text on a couple different pages, in order to just clean things up a little more, make it a little more streamlined, and just make it the best that it can be. And so that all really ended with today, where it was spent just all day working on getting these different pages rewritten. So there's a new introduction page that's 100% complete, and I'm currently working on finishing up the how to select a charity. And that'll be the first item. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably release the pages as soon as I get them completed, as opposed to as one big batch. So as soon as I'm done with step 1, I'll release the introduction page in step 1, and then for every additional step that I release, I'll update the links on the first 2 pages to incorporate the new step. And that way, the navigation between all of the different steps will be it'll be optimal. And so yeah, that's currently my plan for the moment. Rewriting the guide, as I mentioned before, is a massive undertaking. The first guide was 12,000 words, which when I copy pasted it into a Word document came out to 26 pages. Already, with me expanding the first step, that has doubled the length of the existing text, despite me breaking it down into subcategories and making it much easier to read. So it'll take me a little while to get all of it done. I want to get it done by next week, so that way I can have that out to the community. It'll be all updated. It'll have a full list of tools and resources, as well as new tips and strategies, and just things that the community can use. And to anyone who's gone through and read the original strategy guide, you'll know that it is dense. I don't write fluff pieces to try and get clicks and views on those pages, because I don't see that as being useful to the community. So those guides don't have any advertisements on them. It's just all straight. Here are lists of tools that you can use. Here are strategies for how to use them. And if you have the dedication and drive to put on a charity live stream for yourself, then you can come to CLS and start with nothing but drive and gain all of the knowledge and resources and experience in order to put on successful events. So that's kind of my goal for right now. And I'll pass this over to anyone in chat. If you have any questions, and I'll be sure to wait for the delay on this, but if you have any questions for me, whether it's how to use the site right now, if it's how some things are done, or why things are done, or why things are laid out, then please feel free to ask. Because once again, I'm the sole person behind the site, and so that means that, 1, I can answer any and all questions, but 2, I really do rely on your feedback and on your input in order to make the site better. Because me working on my own, I can only go so far, and it's really based on everyone who's taken an interest in CLS for it to become the best that it can be. So let's see. I don't see any questions here. Nope. Looks like everything's all good. So yeah. Once again, thank you all for taking the time to join me in this update. I'm really excited about where the site is going, hitting 100 events on the site. is huge, especially since 2 years ago. I mean, I didn't even know if this would be something that anyone would be interested in. And considering that the site is still under development, and that I haven't done any marketing for it, and all of these events and all of this growth is in large part just word of mouth, or anyone who's decided to take a look at the Twitter or the Discord and to join. It means a whole lot to me. And so I'm really happy to be at this point and to be able to take things even further. So first step, getting the charity guide done, and the next step is to start getting the community highlights lined up, so that way I can start doing those highlights of the of you guys, of the people behind the charity events, and who you guys are. What is it that you care about? What are you passionate about? And just give you the chance to promote yourself and the causes that you think are worth our attention. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all again for joining me with this Dev Update live stream, and I hope you all are doing awesome.